So I continued using Turning Point through PowerPoint.
Yeah.
And I was wondering, since I think both of you mentioned, did you actually use the polling within Zoom? And did you think that was better than using Turning Point?
Turning Point is definitely
I used it a couple of times, but I stayed with PowerPoint partially because it was Turning Point, partially because it was embedded in my PowerPoint. But the problem with the Zoom polling is that you have to set them up in advance or be very fast on the fly. So the few times I wanted to be spontaneous and make something on the fly, it horribly bombed. Like I couldn't figure out where to click, and so the question ended up becoming question, A, B, C, D. So it was not very flexible. But one thing I did notice is that the few times I was able to do it, the feedback was quite substantially higher than the Turning Point polling. So for some reason, there were a lot of people connecting to my classes, my synchronous classes, who, in spite of me, talking about how much I was going to use Turning Point, just didn't buy into it. Just, weren't interested in getting the app or logging in or whatever. I would guess that my, response rate of people in the room, people responding to the polling divided by people in the room, was often only like 60%. And typically in a class in Leacock 132, it'll be like 85 or 90%, right? So
I didn't use Turning Point. I just used the Zoom built-in polls. It was okay. I mean, there is the fact that I had to always, prepare all the, enter all those polls in advance and make sure that they were there. But I usually don't use Turning Points anyway. I use other things like Kahoot and Pingo, and I feel they work much better. But then to do it on Zoom, I would have to move from sharing one thing to sharing another thing, and just becomes a huge mess. And so I just wouldn't do it. Yeah.
I liked Turning Point because, so this is the first time I've ever used polls, so take that as context. But you could do more variety of types of polls in Turning Point, and Zoom, at least to my knowledge, when I played around with it, was only multiple choice. Yeah. And so I liked having that flexibility. Like I put up a picture of a molecule or a picture of a cell, and they could point to where's the nucleus, where's the active site. And that was, I guess you could put an A over different places, but it was a little bit more flexible in different types of questions.